Algebra. We are doing our first PO of the year, and we're starting off with something that should be a little bit familiar, order of operations. Basically, everything that we do in math, more or less, can come back to this. These are like the bylaws of how to do math, okay? Because it would be a huge problem if we had the same expression, 3 plus 4 times 7, and have it equal 49, or have 3 plus 4 times 7 equal 31. Okay? It's a big problem when you're writing code for a program, or you're calculating how much medicine to give someone in the pharmaceutical world, and you come up with two different answers. Okay? That could be like a life and death situation here. So, drawing back on what you do remember about the order of operations, which one's correct? Is 3 plus 4 times 7 49, or is 3 plus 4 times 7 31? Hey?
It's 31.
And why is that?
Because in order to get 49, you would have to add parentheses around 3 plus 4.
Sure. As they're written, to get 49 here, you would add 3 and 4 first, but of course that breaks the order of operations, right? You have to multiply before you add. Okay? If we wanted it to equal 49, Peyton said we could make it 49 by adding parentheses, right? But that's changing the equation. Now we've changed what it says. As it's written, 3 plus 4 times 7 must equal 31 and only 31 due to the order of operations. And so now we get to the big key point here. What are the order of operations? Or is the order of operations?
Firm does.
Firm does. Okay? Feel free to make it nice and bold and big across your page here. PERMDAS is not something to thwart. It must be well demonstrated. And what is the P of PERMDAS? Tristan? Parentheses. Now, parentheses aren't actually an operation, right? You can't parenthesize something. Like you can add something or multiply something or divide something. 3 parentheses 9 isn't an operation. It means multiplication, but multiplication is the operation. And that's why parentheses is kind of off by itself. Okay? If you also remember from last year, the way PERMDAS is kind of organized is by groups of opposite operations. Okay? What do E and R stand for? Yeah. Exponents for E. Girls? To where if you square something, right? 3 squared, the exponent would be the 2. What is 3 squared?
9.
It is 9, means 3 times 3, right? What's the R? Root or radical. And the reason why exponents and radicals are opposites is because if you square something to get 9, but then you take the root of 9, you're back to 3 again. Okay? And that's how the order of operations are organized, by groups of opposite operations. Sometimes you'll hear people say the order of operations are just PEMDAS. They don't include the R. The reason why I do include the R is because I want you to recognize that these are opposite operations. One undoes the other, right? Which is going to be very handy when we get to solving equations that contain exponents or contain radicals. When we talk about, well, what's the opposite of a radical? You'll know, because you're a PERMDAS person. Okay, Anthony, do you have a question?
What?
Is that your question?
No, I just said he copied me.
Oh.
What? I did?
You should all be copying me.
Well, no, he copied me.
What do you mean?
Did you copy me?
I did extra. I did extra. I did.
Okay, I'm done with
No,
you.
so
I did more.
No, so.
Anthony, what does the M stand for?
Multiplication.
What is it you're talking about?
Multiplication. The D is for division. Boys, girls, this entire back part here. Just shh. No, Anthony, Peyton. Peyton, you're looking the right way. Anthony, you should be looking at him. You too. And you too. Yeah. Zoe, you too. Okay? And multiplication are division as well. If you multiply something by 5 to undo that, you divide by 5. Right? And so they're kind of on the same level of the order of operations. And of course, A for addition, S for subtraction, and there you complete the order of operations. Okay? Questions on this? What were we all checked out about today? Zoe, Anthony, what are we just all giddy about? Something happened at lunch or something? Or Anthony? Okay, can we settle down? Can we just kind of take it back a little bit? I'm as big a fan of ASMR as anybody, but Nolan's cast while I'm trying to teach is not what I want to listen to. So the practice. That's all the lesson there is to it, really. Now it's just the application of it. Have you ever seen those things like on your Tic Tacs or your Snaps, or where it's like, this equation broke the internet, no one can solve it, and it's just a basic order of operations question, right? My goal is for you all to be able to be the voice of reason in that comment section and say, no, this is it and this is why, right? We will restore the internet, piece it back together by following just simply the order of operations. 7 plus 6 divided by 7 minus 1. What are we doing first here? Your calculator should be put away right now. You will not be able to use a calculator on this part of the test because your calculator does the order of operations for you. That's kind of pointless. I can say you can check your answer if you would like to, but I need you to be showing the work. Don't just put in your calculator to write the answer down. It really doesn't accomplish anything. What are we doing first here? Nolan, parentheses. And so I want you to do, all of you, this is how the work is shown. Underline what you're going to be doing first, and then rewrite the expression beneath it with that step solved. So instead of 7 plus 6 divided by 7 minus 1, we've underlined parentheses. We're rewriting the 7 plus 6 divided by 6. I didn't leave you this much space just so you can write the answer that big, right? I need to see the work. I left you this much space. You can show me the steps that you take to get from the beginning to end. What will you do next here? Brandon. Divide. What is 6 divided by 6? 1. So you can still write your answer big if you want to. Okay? Do 7 plus 1 equals 8. But that's the work I need to see from everybody. This assignment that you'll have will be due on Monday, because tomorrow is a retake day, so you have all weekend to show all this work. Spirit of Christmas, you're welcome. 2 plus 4 squared divided by 8. What are we doing first?
Exponent.
Landon.
4 squared.
Yes, and what is 4 squared? 16. Thank you for not saying 8. Right? 4 squared does not mean 4 times 2. It means 4 times 4, which is 16. So we have 2 plus 16 divided by 8. What comes next? Josie? Division. Good. 16 divided by 8 is 2. And 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay? Now, the third one here, can we do 2 steps at the same time? It's okay to do that, right? Which 2 steps can we do together? William. Yeah, and why is that? Why can we do both 72 divided by 3, which is 24, and then also negative 2 times 3, which is negative 6? Why can we do them both at the same time? Yeah? They're at the same level, right? They're the multiplication division step. Also, they don't affect each other. Since we have addition in between here and subtraction there also, we have to do each of them before we can add anyway. And so it's okay to do them at the same time. One will not affect the other. Right? And so 24 plus 6 minus 6, what would we do next here? What's your next step, Mia?
24 plus 6.
Sure. Work from left to right. 30 minus 6 is 24. Okay. Could you have subtracted here first? Yes. because addition and subtraction are opposite operations. They're interchangeable. If you had taken 6 minus 6 first, that's 0. 24 plus 0 is still 24. Okay? So either way would have been all right. Are we good? Okay. Last one. Yeah. Parentheses. 9 plus 1 is 10. Divided by 3 squared. What comes next? The exponent. What's 3 squared? 9. And don't be afraid when you get something like 10 divided by 9 that doesn't work out evenly. This will happen more and more now that you're in algebra, just because values just, they are what they are. We're past the point where everything has to work out evenly. So 10 divided by 9, could you write it as a repeating decimal? Sure. Or just remember that division is really a fraction bar. And write your answer 10/9. That's fine too. Okay? In fact, I think we talked about this before. This is where the division symbol comes from. Notice it's like a dot, a fraction bar, and a dot. Those two dots represent numbers. 10 divided by 9. That's where that symbol comes from in the first place. Okay? Questions on any of this? Do you understand the work that I need to see here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Landon? Okay. Second page. Zoe, can you do me a favor and tell me again your complaint about the con, about it being due tonight? Okay, thanks. I just really like that button. So your assignment is the second page here. These 8, right? Make sure you're showing work on all of them. Stay away from the calculator as much as possible, simply because you won't be able to use it on the actual test. But do use it to check your answer. If you type this in exactly as you see it, your calculator always does the correct operations. It'll give you what the answer should be. We can come back up here and do a couple of them after we talk about the rest. I want you to skip this section here. Don't X the whole thing out because we are going to talk about it Monday, but it's not going to be required for homework. Okay? This section right here, right? Don't put a giant X through the whole thing because we are going to talk about it, but it's not for your homework. We'll talk about it in class on Monday. Okay? So the top, Mr. Heavy Pencil, skip the second one. The third one, where you get to place parentheses, this will be part of your homework. Basically, right now, as these expressions are written, they don't equal 45. I want you to add parentheses into the expression so that it does equal 45. So this is practice on how parentheses can change a value. Where would we put parentheses in that first expression so that 60 minus 7 plus 4 times 2 equals 45? As it's currently written, we have to do this first and take 60 minus 7, which is 53, plus 8, that's 61. But like Peyton did earlier with that opening example, he put parentheses in there to make it equal 49. How can we put parentheses here to make this equal 45? Anyone see anything? Dominic? Brilliant. If we add parentheses around the 7 and the 2, now, doing parentheses first, 7 plus 4 times 2, or 7 plus 8, would be 60 minus 15, which does equal 45. Okay? That's what you're doing for all, well, the three remaining ones. Adding parentheses somewhere in the expression to make it equal 45. And then the review at the bottom, you're reviewing what a whole number is, what an integer is, what a rational number is. Those definitions are already in your binder. And then back to CO2, simplifying square roots. Remember here, you cannot use a calculator on this part of the test. So I'd recommend not using one here. But estimate the root of 65, estimate the root of 120, and estimate the root of 31. Questions on what you are to do for the weekend through Monday? Okay. Any you want me to do with you from the page? Open it up. Yeah.
Second page, the first one.
First one up at the top. 9 plus 1 cubed plus 105. Landon, what are we doing first? Parentheses. Right? So underline that. That gives us 10, which we're cubing, and then adding 105. What are we doing next? What are we doing next? Mia. 10 cubed, which is 10 times 10 times 10, 1,000, plus 105. Agreed. And then finally, the addition, 1,000 plus 105 is 1,105. Okay. Others? Otherwise, I'll let you go, and if you have questions, then you can just stop me as needed. We good? Okay. With gusto. That's how you math.
Don't forget to
like and subscribe.